Hi, I'm Hayley Kay with another gVlog for Blackpool's Grand Theatre. Now, I'm very excited to be chatting once again to theatre archivists Linda and Jeff Tolson MBE.
Hey.
Now, one of the best things about doing these vlogs is that I get to chat to you about all different sorts of history, and the one we're going to talk about today specifically is royalty, in light of the whole royal wedding fever that has gripped the nation recently. So, when was our first royal visitor, Linda?
Well, the theatre opened in 1894, so I think we could have expected that we might have had a visit from Queen Victoria. But of course, 1894, Prince Albert had died and she went into deep mourning, so she really didn't do any public engagements for a long time. But she did send Lady Queensberry in her place. So Lady Queensberry sat in our royal box.
So how long did it take for us to get a real royal visitor then?
Well, actually, it was 87 years later. And that was when the theatre had been saved from demolition. We'd managed to buy the theatre. And Prince Charles came in 1981 to officially reopen the Grand Theatre.
Now, am I right in thinking, Jeff, that 81 was the year that Prince Charles got married, actually, wasn't it?
Yes, later that year. He was already engaged, and we did rather think he might bring his fiancée with him, but no, he came on his own, but pretty grateful we were to have his presence with us.
And what was he actually like? I mean, did he meet everybody, or what?
Oh, he was amazing.
He
He made it quite clear that he was going to try and talk to as many people as he possibly could. Before he even came in the theatre for the proper reception, he spent a considerable amount of time outside, talking with the public who are outside waiting to see him. And after the actual show itself, after the gala, in our little marquee tent that we had for a reception, again he stayed. He was supposed to go, but he said, no, I'm going in there to meet everybody. And he went in again and met everybody and chatted with virtually every single member of cast and helper who was there.
I was going to say, who actually performed on that night? Do you know of any of the performers, or I might have asked a difficult question there?
Well, no, not at all. A lot of the people were people who had perhaps got a link with Blackpool.
Oh, okay.
They'd appeared in season shows, people like Danny LaRue and Jimmy Jewell and Ben Warris, if we go back a little bit further. And there were also some local artists, people who, like Jackie Scott, who were born in the town, and they'd gone on to great things and done shows in the West End. And then, of course, there were the normal top of the bills. Petula Clark came. So we've lots of people, and naturally the first person who was asked to come was the producer, and Robert Nesbitt produced the show. So it was a very, very glittering occasion.
And this little bit of glassware, just tell us a little bit about this.
Do you want to take it, Linda?
Well, yes. I mean, all the artists, of course, give their services for free because this was a charitable event. But we just felt that we wanted to say thank you because it was just such an exciting occasion for us. So each member of the cast on that occasion was given this lovely wine glass, which had been uniquely engraved. And it says here, Grand Theatre, and it says the date, in the presence of His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, the 29th of May 1981.
It's fabulous, I love it.
Yeah.
Now, something which was a huge concern for the wedding was security, of course. But what was the security like for Prince Charles's visit? I mean, was it really tight back then, or how was it back in 1981?
It was very tight. It was a little while after the IRA bombings, but security when the royals were about, in fact, well, members of Parliament even, was extremely tight. We had sniffer dogs in the theatre the night before, going around checking for explosives. Every member of the front of house teams, the professional staff who worked here, all had their biogs and their photographs to check who was who and so on. And on the day of the actual performance itself, that evening, they even had a portable X-ray machine in one of the offices, and every item of postage that came, be it letter or parcel, went through that X-ray machine to check it. And there were police outside, special branch were there, and when he arrived, of course, the Royal Protection Squad were also there. It was quite funny, actually. Because it was a royal gala, all the guests, male guests, were asked to wear dinner jackets, black tie, and the ladies appropriately a long frock, I suppose. And even the members of the special branch had to wear dinner jackets.
Really?
Everybody was dressed the same almost. Actually, we had our photographs taken, and I said to one of the special branch people, "Why are you taking photographs of your own people?" And he said, "Well, we want to know if somebody pulls a gun, whether it's one of ours or it's the opposition." I thought, that's nice. But this particular occasion, up in the upper circle where we were watching, getting ready for the show to start, there was a man appeared in a bomber jacket, a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of, consternation. It turned out he was actually a member of a special branch who hadn't read the small print about putting a dinner jacket on. So they turfed him out. He didn't get to see it.
Now, I'm sure Prince Charles hasn't been our only guest. Am I right in thinking Prince Edward's been to the theatre too?
Yes, Prince Edward came. He was working at the time for Andrew Lloyd Webber, the really useful company. And we happened to be doing a production, one of Lloyd Webber's productions, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And so he came in his role as an employee of Andrew Lloyd Webber to check it out.
Wow.
So it was a much more low-key occasion, but he came, and the mayor was there, and the MP, and the chief executive, etc. And again, like Prince Charles, absolutely charming. He spoke to everybody he could. We gave him, it was a matinee, so he had a little bit of afternoon tea in the interval, and spoke, and his questions, because he knew I was in education, he actually said to me, "Are you finding it very difficult in these austere times bringing pupils to the theatre when they have to obviously pay for their ticket and pay for the transport to get there?" And I thought that was a very astute thing to talk about, and it was something that, you know, as a professional, we were quite concerned about at the time.
Now, finally then, I want to ask this. Am I right in thinking that the last royal visit was 24 years ago, and it was, for me, it was the biggie. It would be the one that I would be most excited about.
Yeah.
It was the icing on the cake when Her Majesty the Queen and His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh came. They didn't, I have to be honest, come specially. They were also visiting Russell School. They were going to the Tower, and because it was their 100th anniversary,
Same
of course,
year.
1994, 100 years after it was built, and going up also to the Pleasure Beach. But they arrived, and Linda will tell you how the Queen was dressed, because it was really
yes,
beautiful.
I was thrilled when I saw her, because if you think about it, when the Queen goes anywhere or opens anything, she's usually dressed quite conventionally in a block colour, a pale blue dress and matching coat and
Because I'm right in thinking they do that so she can be seen from a distance, don't they? From quite a long way away.
Absolutely. But the first time she walked through the door of the Grand Theatre, she had a pleated skirt, a little silk jacket to match the skirt. It was in the brightest shade of turquoise, and it was polka dot. And it was just as
quite
if
unusual.
she had thought, I'm going to Blackpool, I'm having a day at the seaside, and I'm going to dress for the occasion.
And there's another story which I've heard a little bit about when she was presented with some flowers, is that right?
Oh, yes. This was a little girl, a 5-year-old girl, and she presented the Queen with a posy because she was the youngest member of the Friends of the Grand. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. It's so lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's been absolutely fascinating hearing all about it. And if you want any more backstage secrets, head over to blackpoolgrand.co.uk/Blackpool History. I've been Hayley Kay for gVlog.